We all knew, she whispered through her tears. God help us. We all knew, and we did nothing. 28 minutes later, Derek came back downstairs carrying 2 large suitcases and a duffel bag. His hair was disheveled, and there was a wild look in his eyes that scared me more than his anger had. I'll be staying at my brother's place, he announced to no one in particular. No, you won't, his brother Trevor replied quietly. My wife doesn't want you around our children after what we just witnessed here. Derek stared at him in shock and disbelief. What did you just say to me? I said find somewhere else to stay, Trevor repeated, his voice getting stronger. Lisa doesn't want someone who beats women living in the same house as our kids. She doesn't want our children thinking that kind of behavior is normal or acceptable. Derek looked around the room desperately, searching for support from someone, anyone in his family. Mom? He asked plaintively. His mother couldn't even look at him. I think you should just go, Derek. Dad? His father was suddenly very interested in the pattern on his dinner plate. Your mother's right. Maybe some time apart would be good for everyone involved. Uncle Donald? Aunt Rebecca? They both shook their heads. I don't think that's a good idea, his uncle said firmly. My grandchildren visit our house. I won't have them around someone who thinks violence is acceptable. As Derek walked toward the front door, dragging his suitcases behind him, Chloe called out one final warning. Remember what I told you about all that evidence, she said calmly. If you ever come near my mother again, if you try to cause problems with the divorce proceedings, if you even think about retaliating against either of us in any way, everything goes public immediately. And next time, I won't give you the option of apologizing your way out of it. The front door slammed so hard it rattled the windows throughout the house. The room remained completely silent for several long minutes. Finally, I stood up on shaking legs and took Chloe's hand. We should go now, I said quietly. As we gathered our coats and purses, Derek's youngest nephew, maybe 7 or 8 years old, tugged on the hem of my shirt. Are you going to be okay now? He asked with a kind of innocent concern that only children can manage. I knelt down to his eye level, fighting back tears. Yes, sweetie, I said softly. I'm going to be okay now. His mother, Derek's sister-in-law, came over and put her hand on my shoulder. I'm so sorry we didn't speak up, she said. I'm ashamed that it took a child to show us what we should have done years ago. In the car, Chloe and I drove in complete silence for the first 10 miles. My hands were shaking too badly to hold the steering wheel steady. My face still throbbed where Derek had hit me. The metallic taste of blood lingered in my mouth. Finally, I found the courage to ask the question that had been burning in my mind. How long have you been planning all of this? Since the first night I heard him hit you, Chloe said simply. I knew nobody else was going to protect you, so I had to figure out how to do it myself. Tears started flowing down my cheeks uncontrollably. You shouldn't have had to do any of that. You're just a child. This should have been handled by adults. I stopped being just a child the night my dad died, Chloe said matter-of-factly. I definitely stopped being just a child when I moved into a house where I had to worry about my mother's safety every single day. She stared out the passenger window at the darkening sky. Someone had to be the adult in that situation, and it obviously wasn't going to be any of them. They all knew what was happening, and they all chose to pretend it wasn't their problem. She was absolutely right. A 16-year-old girl had shown more courage and moral clarity than a room full of grown adults. We spent that night in a cheap motel on the other side of town.